Bit about the character. He's a journalist, and firstly, do you meet a lot of journalists? Are you
Always. I think journalists and actors, we all
go hand in hand?
we go hand in hand. We can't do without each other.
Yeah,
We love
absolutely.
each other. We hate each other.
Absolutely. Social media, it's a great boon also, but it's a big distraction also. Is it a distraction for an actor like you, or it is something that you would like to use and have always?
It can become a distraction very easily.
Does it distract you?
I keep social media away from me when I don't need it. Like
Okay.
it's only during film promotions.
Do hits and flops both teach you something?
Absolutely. Whenever you have a hit, there is more pressure because the next film has to be
Has to.
bigger than the previous one.
Right.
When a film doesn't work, it's always, going back to the drawing board, figuring out why the film didn't work.
Right.
What didn't the audience connect with?
Do you think someone who comes with legacy has this extra thing on their head that I have to prove it because I have to earn it? Do you have this on your mind always?
My granddad's been hugely successful, dad's
Yeah.
been hugely successful.
Yeah.
So obviously the pressure is there. But I'm also blessed to have this platform. It's not easy to make an entry into this industry.
When you say Sai Pallavi, the challenge always is to match the dance steps.
Yes.
Are you excited, nervous?
Yeah, I'm telling you, love story. I had to go for dance classes. I rehearse extra hard. This time it's going to be like double the pressure. But yeah, thanks to her, I'm improving my dance skills.
Jay, welcome to Mumbai, should I say it, or do you come very often?
Not too often, here and there, but yeah, thank you. I always like to be welcomed here.
Right. So this is just a fleeting visit to do promotions and then you're back home?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched one episode. That's what I had access to. It seemed completely gripping. The intention was that it has a hook that I wanted to watch the next episode, so I'll have to wait for some time. Was it a big deal at the start that when you do an OTT web series, it should be like that, it should be a particular genre? You had these things in mind?
One thing I always kept in mind is that when I do OTT,
Right.
it'll be like my alter ego coming out from what I do in cinema.
Right.
There is a certain structure and there's a certain sort of expectation that you have as an actor when you're doing a feature film that's releasing in theater. So, but as an actor, there's so much more I want to do. So I always said if I do OTT, it'll be my alter ego as an actor coming out, and I think Dhootha is the perfect expression for me that way as an actor.
Right, it is. When you say you wanted to, this should be slightly different. How can, how is it different for you as an actor when you're doing something like this?
Firstly, the genre, suspense, supernatural thriller. This is something I've not explored for theatre. And as an actor, you get about 320 minutes of time to really unfold the character and breathe every layer of it.
Right.
And this is something I think any actor would dream for. For movies, it's different. It's like first half, second half, interval, climax. It's you have that much time.
Right.
That format is there. But here you have those 8 episodes.
Right.
So I think that way it's very different, and that way you can explore the nuances of each character a lot more. Because you have that breathing time. So that way it's going to be very different.
Right.
For me.
So how, can you explain then, how long did you shoot this for? Does it take much longer than a movie would take?
Not really. I mean, it didn't. Maybe a little longer, but I shot this for about 75-80 days.
Oh, that's like
It was just like a film. Things were very planned, and we have a certain amount of footage to shoot every day, and it worked like clockwork.
Wow.
So yeah, it was not so different from a film.
Right. You've done quite a bit of movies, but how come supernatural never happened before this? Is it a genre was it not of your interest earlier in your career, or it's not something that you wanted to explore at that time?
No, it's a genre that's I've always been interested in, but I've never gotten pitched something like this for the movies, purely because, like I said, in the South also we, as stars, when we do something for cinema, there's a certain expectation.
Right.
There's a format that they come to the theaters to be entertained with. With OTT, I think the audience is completely neutral. When you pick up the remote and switch on something, you are watching from a very neutral space because you're at home in your comfort zone. You've not paid so much amount of money to go to the theater, buy popcorn, this, that, you know, they've not put in so much effort. So you're much more at ease. You're open. So it's a place where you can really experiment and try different things.
Right. No, glad you're doing that. Your fans will absolutely love that. So, you know, talking a bit about the character, he's a journalist. And firstly, do you meet a lot of journalists? Are you
Always. I think journalists and actors, we all
go hand in hand.
We go hand in hand. We can't do without each other.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
love each other. We hate each other.
Absolutely. Right. You know, would you meet a journalist? This is a very particular. He's not a film journalist like me.
Yeah.
Did you meet someone? Would you like to meet someone, or would you like to hear what kind of, you know? It's just basically when you meet a person, you get to know something about their ethics, what they do. Did you do that? Did you
Before I started
Yeah.
filming? Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. When after Vikram narrated Dhootha to me and told me I'm going to be playing a journalist, there are a lot of, fortunately, a lot of journalists that I'm in close touch with in Hyderabad over the years, promoting films and all that. That I've built a relationship with them. So got a chance to speak to a lot of them, and over here I'm playing an investigative journalist more. Sagar is an investigative journalist, so a lot of homework did go in.
So, you know, when you meet journalists, what is your big observation? Is there something in common that you see in them? What do you observe things?
I think they are like actors also. The similarity I'll tell you is because actors, we observe people.
Right.
To, you know, build characters, to try and find nuances. Journalists, you guys also have to observe and figure out what's going on, or figure out what someone's next move is, or what's going to happen. So I think this observation is a very common factor between actors.
That's a very good observation. In fact, you know, when we are talking, I think people will get slightly confused. There, you're a journalist, and then you said this is a supernatural experience. Also, what happens? Can you at this point give people an idea that how is a journalist facing something supernatural?
So usually for a journalist, his job is to sort of predict what's going to happen and, you know, take that news to the people and inform them. But over here in Sagar's life, the newspaper is predicting what's going to happen in his life. It's the reverse that's happening. So that makes it a very interesting plot point.
Right.
And as the episodes keep passing, the predictions become even more life-threatening, not only to him, but also to his family and his entire world.
Right.
And if he doesn't get to the bottom of it, everything is going to collapse.
Right.
And through this process, he's made to question his ethics, his way of life, a lot of things that he has never ever sort of questioned or looked into before.
Right.
So there's a lot of learning that happens for him also as a person.
Right.
And apart from that, I would say that Vikram has left the ending of every episode with a great hook point, where you'll want to move on to the next.
Right. You know, when you get something so, like, you know, there's a beauty in this substance. When you get something like that, who's the decision maker along with you? Who do you go to your team? Do you go to your family? Who decides, and who do you go to if you're in doubt that I shouldn't do or something?
It's usually I sort of pitch it to everyone, to dad, to mom. I have a bunch of close friends, or, you know, well-wishers. I would probably just sound it off saying, hey, I heard like a plot like this today.
Okay.
How would you feel it would work? So just here and there, tell a few people that I trust, and get their first opinions. Get their opinions, and then
you know, mom, dad will definitely give genuine feedback. What happens with film stars is that most of the people around will say, wow, this is great, that is great. Have you given that liberty to them that they can say, no, you know, don't do this?
Fortunately, the friends I have around me are all friends from school and college.
Okay.
So they have seen me from my roots. You know, we've all progressed in life together. So there's no need for them to act or, you know, sort of be my yes man or something like that. What we are getting out of each other is just pure friendship.
Right.
So they've always been honest with me, and I trust them on that.
I can imagine, because you do come across like that. Absolutely. You know, when this is coming, all eyes, you know, Telugu cinema industry is an industry that's given India some of the biggest hits. We still talk about it whenever there's a comparison. So all eyes are on this as well. Do you know, acting entertainment is in your system. How do you see the growth of this industry firstly? when it comes to box office and just technical production, you think they've moved in the right direction?
Absolutely, we've progressed a long way, and I would say that, see, we have always made this kind of cinema, this texture of cinema, like the RRRs, the Baahubali, and all that. But the thing is, with technology, the world is being exposed to Telugu cinema.
Right.
So with that kind of exposure, and with more and more people being, watching our films and appreciating our films, we've only gotten more and more budgets.
Right.
So automatically, it fuels the technical side of things to be able to explore better technical possibilities and larger canvases to tell stories. So I think it's all worked hand in hand, and we've come a long way.
Absolutely.
So it's I would like to thank the audience also for giving us this kind of exposure and encouraging us.
True, and when you had first, I don't know if I'll take you back. You remember when you had first seen Baahubali, we were mesmerized by it.
Right.
Were you surprised, or were you like, no, we would make this someday?
No, I think Rajmouli sir has always surprised us, not only at home, back at home, but everywhere. World over, everywhere. So yeah, we were surprised. Like that was, I remember still, that was the first proper 100 crore budget film, and only he could make it happen. And he has changed the face of Telugu cinema with Baahubali.
He really has. You also, you all run a studio. Are you interested in all this, the post-production, the effects? Well, let's go raise the bar. Let's get the best technicians. Is this your calling?
Yeah, post-production has always been something I've been interested in, and it's something I look into at Annapurna Studios as well.
Yeah, of course.
What's new? What's the new technology? What can we bring back? In fact, there's this recent technology that's becoming really famous, virtual production.
Right.
Films being shot in studio floors with LED screens, and the asset is on the LED screen, and it's basically a lot of Hollywood films and a lot of films over here are adapting to this format. So just to give you an example, so that was one. So yeah, but post-production is something that really interests me, and
right. Talking about social media, it's a great boon also, but it's a big distraction also. Is it a distraction for an actor like you, or it is something that you would like to use and have always?
I think it needs to be used in the right taste. It can become a distraction very easily.
Does it distract you ever?
I keep social media away from me when I don't need it.
Okay.
Like it's only during film promotions, or if I need to get a message out, that I use it. Otherwise, when I'm not promoting something, I'm away from it as much as possible.
You're not someone who will be on Instagram to see what your friends, colleagues are doing?
Not really. If I want to know what they're up to, I'll just call them, or check on them, WhatsApp, or go meet them. So yeah.
Right. Since you were talking about production, is there anything recently off late that you saw in international, anywhere, that you were like, wow, we should make something like that. I would like to do something like that.
I've always been a huge fan of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, oh my God.
To see what he's doing at this point of his career, at this age, has inspired me. And the kind of action episodes he's conceiving is amazing. So yeah, my recent proper popcorn film at the theater was Mission Impossible. And also Top Gun. So yeah, that's
when you see that, do you see that like a fan, or do you see a lot of technicalities, and can you enjoy like what I would enjoy?
First is a fan.
Okay.
Then is the let's be the movie filmmaker, and let's dissect it.
Right.
I think the same thing happens for Christopher Nolan's films. Yeah. It's like an encyclopedia for me. I keep watching it, and every time I watch it, some new layer pops up. So
right. Yeah. When you were talking about all these things that you're learning, where does one hear all this from? From friends who are here and abroad on sets, or filmmakers? Or who tells you that this is come? Do you have your people who are like-minded like you, who have these gadgets and be like, you should try this in your next movie?
Yeah, it's just being in touch with filmmakers, with actors, with technicians from all over the world.
Right.
Just having casual conversations, and like you said, speaking to like-minded people.
Yeah.
And I think there's something you can learn of anyone on this planet. There's something everyone can teach you. So just be open to learning, and you will keep discovering.
Right. Do hits and flops both teach you something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What would it?
Hits, to start with hits, whenever you have a hit, there is more pressure because the next film has to be bigger than the previous one.
Right.
There's a standard being set. When a film doesn't work, it's always, going back to the drawing board, figuring out why the film didn't work, what didn't the audience connect with. Because when we listen to the script, we are excited by it and we think it's going to work.
And
that's why we make it. And that's why we make it. So we need to go back and sort of draw parallels as to where did the judgment go wrong. I think, I can go to acting school, keep learning how to act. I can, a cameraman can go to film school and learn how to shoot beautiful visuals. But one thing that we are not really taught is judgment. I think that is something we can only build with experience. So judgment is something, I find the most challenging part about this profession.
Right, but do you ask, say, your dad, even there, you have so many people to talk to, this judgment part, can anyone judge? Can anyone gauge what's happening?
There's no rule to it. There's absolutely no rule to it. Sometimes we don't know why some films work, why some films don't work. So it's just being open and learning.
Right. Are you someone, accepting is very important that, okay, this film has not worked. Are you someone who will accept? Because we do so many interviews, there will be people who say, oh, critics don't know anything and reviewers don't know and this film was ahead of its times or something like that. Do you think acceptance is the first thing that, let's accept it didn't work?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the sooner you accept success or failure for what has happened in reality and on that day, I think that the sooner you're going to grow, and the sooner you're going to progress in whatever you're doing.
Right. I was watching your interview today. You said, I'm fortunate to be born with this gift. Basically, you were talking about your legacy. And you said, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted the audience to love me. And you worked very hard for it. Do you think someone who comes with legacy has this extra thing on their head that I have to prove it because I have to earn it? Do you have this on your mind always?
Well, definitely the pressure is there.
Okay.
Because when you come from a film family where I'm the third generation now, and they've been success. My granddad's been hugely successful. Dad's been hugely successful. So obviously the pressure is there. But I'm also blessed to have this platform. It's not easy to make an entry into this industry. But having said that, I think few films down the line where I am today, people are only going to come watch me if my film is working. If a newcomer's film is released on the same day as mine and his or her film is better than mine, they're only going to buy the ticket and go for his film. So his or her film. So I think after the first few attempts, then we're all in the same ocean, swimming around.
Right. When you do you've done such interesting work, say, and say when you were promoting Thank You, I remember you was talking about just basics like saying thank you, being humble, valuing the good people around you. These are the lot of things that you were discussing with so many people. Do these films teach you also things? Like, do these important values stay with you?
Absolutely. Every film teaches me something, personally and professionally. With Thank You, of course, it was just the whole beauty around saying that simple word, thank you, and how much it can change people's lives. Similarly, with Love Story, when I did Love Story, really exploring that character, exploring their problems in life, their difficulties, that really was a huge reality check for me. So like this, every film teaches me something.
No, and also every film, you always said you learn something, whether it's hockey or cricket or whatever.
Exactly.
In this, what did you get to learn in Dhootha?
In this,
you got to learn what journalists do.
Yes. No, honestly, it's the life of a journalist. I mean, that's something I had never explored and definitely got to understand that better.
Right.
And apart from that, shooting in the rain to just to joke about something. I mean, from the first episode to the last episode, there is rain in Dhootha.
There is, oh my God.
Vikram has written the rain has a character in this, which makes it very interesting and adds to the texture of the genre.
It does. Absolutely, it does. So, this, we are definitely going to watch it. Where will we see you next? Do you want to tell the people?
Well, you're going to see me next on December 1st on Prime Video with Dhootha. Apart from that, there's another Telugu film that Chandu Mondeti is directing, which Geeta Arts is producing, and Sai Pallavi is there in it. So going to start filming for that mid of December.
Right. When you say Sai Pallavi, the challenge always is to match the dance steps.
Yes.
Are you excited, nervous?
Yeah, I'm telling you, love story. I had to go for dance classes. I rehearse extra hard. This time it's going to be like double the pressure. But yeah, thanks to her, I'm improving my dance skills.
Right.
I'm always looking forward to working with her.
Jay, this was my first interview with you. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you keep coming back to Mumbai so we get to meet you as well.
Thank you so much. Lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.